Good morning. Welcome to the Gospel according to Kinison, and I am your illustrious host, Bill Kinison, and I am so excited. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We did. The kids came home for Thanksgiving, and so we're a little bit depressed. I'm gonna be honest about it, because they went back home yesterday, and but we just had a fantastic Thanksgiving with friends and family, and I hope you had as good a one as we did. We just had a tremendous Thanksgiving, and I don't know, what is it, Sherry, a week, and we got Christmas now?
3 weeks.
Well, it seems like a week.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so 3 weeks, we'll be having Christmas. And so I just want to wish all of you, and I hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving. And we are here in beautiful, cloudy, windy, cold Southern California. I hope you folks that are envious of me being here, I hope you're enjoying this, wherever you're at. But I don't care, because God's still on the throne, and I was raised in Illinois. I know what weather is. But we want to welcome you to our program. We want to wish a happy birthday, Sherry, to Jack Friedman, who is now, 84 years old? I don't know how old he is. He's not 84. But I'm sure you're going to, once he sees this, he'll make a comment. And he is our man that gets it on YouTube and takes care of us and everything else. Happy birthday, Jack. I hope you had a great one. And then our resident director, Mr. Chris Kyer, I saw him on the news the other day, Sherry.
Channel 7.
Yeah, what was that, on Friday or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, saw him on the news there at his shop, and for you that's seen it, now you know what I'm talking about. That place is amazing. Excuse me. That place is amazing. I mean, I was watching it, and he was going, everything on this tree is from Germany, the Czech Republic, and I forget what other ones, and you can buy those. But I mean, he's got like different trees, because he gets things from all over the world. If you're thinking about getting cheap stuff that never lasts and you throw it away after Christmas, don't waste your time at Chris Kyer's, because his is going to last forever. Out front, he's got like these snowmen and Santa Claus that were when I was a little kid. And somehow he finds these things in great shape. Anyhow, we want to tell you, and from what I understand about the program, this is going to be his last year, because it's so hard to find property out here for just a matter of 2 or 3 months. And so you want to get over there. It's at 3512 Magnolia. They're in Burbank. And you're going to thank me. If you go there, you're going to thank me that I told you to go there. Then at the Grove Theater, we've got a Christmas Carol that Sherry produces and everything else. But she come on last night and tell me how great it was, and how comfortable it was there. And what, Sister Kinison?
Keep going.
I haven't called you that in a long time. They used to call her the state mother. Now you know why she's so strong. Every church I think we ever pastored, she was the state mother. And anyhow, so that is at 2:30 today. 2 o'clock. All right, scratch all that. It's at 2 o'clock today, and then again next weekend, and I think the following weekend. You're going to love it. They've got some real talent there. We also want to remember in prayer. We want to remember Dana. She's gonna go through a procedure this week that we want to hold her up in prayer. Also, Carl in Las Vegas. I don't care what the doctor's reports are. Doctors have been wrong. And I'm not anti-doctor, believe me. I am not anti-doctor. But I'm going to tell you, that's not the final verdict for me. Final verdict is Christ in me. Christ in me. That's the final verdict. And then Leo, that we've been praying for, he had quite a journey, Sherry. Leo Lemon, he had quite a journey. But I'm glad to tell you that God has touched him. He's home. He looks great. I remember last time I went up and saw him at the hospital, I walked in and he just looked fantastic. And I go, "How you doing?" And he goes, "I'm really doing good." I said, "Well, I guess my work here is done." And I turned around and walked out, and then I came back in because they're like family to me. I love them. And then Mike Eisenberg, another friend from Peoria, Illinois, was taken to the hospital this week. And we want to remember Mike in prayer. We did have, well, the lady considers it, Pamela, had a grandson, and the father is a drug dealer and everything. They were going into court for him to get custody, and she asked us to pray, and we did, and God said, no, not till he cleans up his act. And so I want to remember her. And then, another thing I told Sherry this week, I said, Sherry, my heart really aches for people that have lost someone, and sometimes this is their first holiday without them. And that can be very difficult. We can talk spiritual and all that kind of stuff. When the rubber hits the road, that can be very, very difficult. I know that the first big loss that my family had was my youngest brother Kevin that was murdered. And I remember, I think it was Richard, gave me a framed picture, I think it was at Thanksgiving, of Kevin that just looked angelic. And I got to tell you, I just broke down. It can be very emotional. We're going to hold you folks up in prayer today. And speaking specifically to Barbara, we're going to hold you up in prayer today. Well, let's get into our message. I'm really excited. That message last week, every week we get such positive feedback, and and this week was no different, except that it seemed like even more so. And I want to finish that up, and then I want to get into what we want to get into this week. I told you last week, I'm in agreement that no one can take my good from me. I'm in agreement. Somebody said, "Who are you agreeing with?" Well, the Bible said, where 2 or 3 would agree together. I got me, myself, and I. All 3 agreeing. I'm being a little facetious, but I'm telling you right now, notice what happens when the mind agrees with God and goes up to the well of loving, peaceful agreement. You know what happens? The Lord appears. I want to read to you. I want to read to you out of Genesis 26 and 26. Reads like this. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and as Ahuzeth, one of his friends, and Philco, the chief captain of his army. Give you a little history. We touched on it last week. Isaiah comes into this town, and then immediately, because of his thought process, he's made enemies. And he even gets to the point that they told him how beautiful that his wife was. So he was so afraid they were going to kill him that he said, "That's not my wife, that's my sister. That's my sister." And so that's kind of the backstory here. And I want to read it to you. And Isaac said unto them, now these are the men I just mentioned to you, Abimelech and all the rest of the other 2 men, are from this army and those that were in this town that Isaiah totally alienated right out of the gate. Now, he goes, and Isaac said unto them, wherefore come ye to me, seeing you hate me? Boy, the mind's a powerful thing. Seeing that you hate me and have sent me away from you. And they said, I want you to listen what the other side said. They're supposed to be the bullies. Supposed to be the ones that was going to murder them and rob them and pillage them. Anyhow, it goes, and they said, we saw certainly that the Lord was with thee. And we said, let there now be an oath between us, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee. We want to make a deal with you. We want a contract with you, that thou wilt do no harm, do us no harm, as we have not touched thee, and as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now the blessed of the Lord. And he made a feast. This is Isaiah now. And he made Isaac, I'm sorry. If I've been saying Isaiah, I meant Isaac. Anyhow, it goes on and it goes, and he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink. And they arose up betimes in the morning, and swear one to another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. Here we have the conversion of the enemies in the mind. I want to explain something to you. The Bible is a spiritual book, but it's also a graded book. And when I say a graded book, I don't care what level of spirituality that you're on, this Bible will speak to you. I don't care if you're just starting out or you've been a master's in, you have a master's in theology. It doesn't make any difference. Whatever your spiritual insight, this Bible will feed you. And so, when Isaac first went to town, he agreed with evil. There you are. He agreed with evil. Now, we have to convert the enemies. Now we're going to get good. Get your pencils and paper out. We must convert the enemies in our mind. That's the only enemies I have. Somebody said, well, you got a lot of enemies. I don't recognize that. All I recognize is the enemies in my mind. Convert the energy of your thought and feeling from disharmony to harmony. Use that same energy that you depress yourself with, that you discourage yourself with, that you make yourself fearful. Convert that energy of your thought and of your feeling from disharmony to harmony, from enemies to friend, from opposers to helpers. It's all in your mind. Convert your thought and feeling from working against you to feasting with you. My. A man, a mind, must establish a new covenant, a new agreement with his thoughts and his feelings, that he will not trouble them and they will not trouble him. That's the agreement you have to have. When a mind is always in opposition, it's an indication that that mind needs to make a new covenant, a new agreement. All of this happens within you. Within you. I want you to quit thinking that anything outside of you controls you. The situations that you're in is not because of someone else. I know that we look at it and think it does. No, it doesn't. It starts within. It results, or it insults, the human ego to discover that I am the cause of my trouble. I am. But yet, it is so convenient, it makes me so happy to know that within me I can correct the situation. I can go to my own mind and make a new agreement. If you haven't been getting what you want, then go to your own mind and make an agreement. If you will agree with yourself, you will get what you agree for. Woo! Isaac did. Make an agreement. I am done with this mess. That's my agreement today. I am done with this mess. I'm going to make a new covenant. I'm not going to trouble my thoughts with evil agreements any longer, with negative thinking and imagination any longer. I'm going to make a new agreement. And I told you last week, sometimes I like to spell God G-O-O-D. G-O-O-D. Good. Good. Proverbs 12 and 11. I'm going to give you some scriptures. He who tills, now this is your secret of prosperity and secret of plenty. He who tills the land, in Proverbs 12 and 11, shall have plenty of bread. He who tills the land shall have plenty of bread. That is the secret of prosperity. That is the secret of having plenty. It's getting to be Christmas time. Aren't you tired of always struggling? Let me give you some meanings here. Land. He who tills his land means the field of the mind, which must be tilled, must be cultivated, must be conditioned for success and prosperity. To till your land or to till your mind means to cultivate your mind, to discipline your mind powers, to condition your mind for success and prosperity. I know I'm going rather quickly, but I really want you to pay attention to it. Ladies and gentlemen, your mind cannot escape conditioning. It's not possible. Your mind cannot escape conditioning. If you do not condition your mind positively for health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, plenty, money, then the world will condition it negatively for you. But your mind's going to be conditioned. And it'll do it, the world will condition it negatively for you, free of charge. For the opposites of good. You see, the only thing you get for nothing is nothing. I've said that so many times. Billy Preston, a friend of ours, wrote, "Nothing for nothing leaves nothing." You gotta have something if you're going to hang with me. But the real word is nothing from nothing leaves nothing. How many of you listening right now have had family or friends find out something that you wanted to be, you wanted to do, and that you wanted to have, and free of charge, without asking them, they come to you and tell you, "No, you can't. I've got a dream. I want to have this business. You can't do it. I have a dream. I want to accomplish this. You can't do it." And you know what? The ones that will affect you the most, those that are closest to you. They came to you and gave you that information for nothing. To tell you you can't do it. They gave it to you free of charge. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Isaiah 42 and 19. Who is blind but my servant? Who is deaf but my servant whom I have sent. What does that mean? Well, the Lord's servant sees and hears only the good that he wants to be. That's all. And to have. And he is blind and deaf to advice of the contrary. That's exactly what it means. Who is blind but my servant? He doesn't see all the obstacles. Who is deaf but my servant? He doesn't hear all those negative things of why you cannot accomplish and be healthy and wealthy and wise. They don't understand it. You see, to succeed to a certain extent, you have to be blind to circumstances that say, no, you can't. I'm really limited on time this morning, but if I had the time, I would tell you of different ones that I have seen that sat under our ministry. I'll give you one. There was a man named Cedric Thompson. He and his wife. And they had two beautiful little children. And this man started coming to our church. And he gave. And he gave. I'm talking of his finances. And he gave until finally I took him in the office and said, you have to take care of your family. If you don't take care of your family, you're worse than an infidel. I appreciate that you believe what I'm giving you. I appreciate that you take these steps, but you need to take care of your family. And I remember Cedric telling me, I believe what you teach. Got to the point he didn't have a car. And I didn't know all this, by the way. And he would walk. He and his family would walk 3-4 miles to church. His dream in life had been to be a photographer, a professional photographer. He'd go by this old house in a rough part of Peoria, Illinois. One day, an old man came out of that house and said, wait a minute, I want to talk to you. So he invited him in and he started talking to him. Well, where are you going on Sunday? Where are you going on Wednesday night when you walk by my house? Cedric told him, I'm going to church. And they got to talking, and this man, I think, asked him, what is your dream? What is your dream? What do you want to do? And Cedric told him, said, I want to be a professional photographer. He said, well, I've got something for you. He took him in a room, gave him all kinds of cameras, professional cameras, gave him all the equipment because he'd been seeing him walk to church. Cedric, within a matter of a couple years, was the team photographer for the St. Louis Cardinals, for the Chicago Cubs, for the Bradley Braves College, and go on and on. He was their photographer. It works, people. It works. It works. You have to be deaf to discouraging free advice. You've got to be deaf to it. Psalms 1:1, blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. So your mind cannot escape conditioning. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. To do absolutely nothing. And evil will triumph. All you need to do to fail is do nothing. All you need to be nothing, do nothing, have nothing, is nothing. I tell them about Billy Preston, writing the song, Nothing from Nothing.
Leaves nothing.
Leaves nothing. That's a problem with a lot of the Christians that I knew growing up in my life, is they sat and did nothing and then was expecting God to come in on the clouds whisk them away to a mansion, whisk them away to streets of gold, gates of pearl. Yet these folks didn't have enough victory in this life to live decently, to have just the bare minimums. Why? All you need to do to be nothing, to have nothing, is nothing. Hebrews 2 and 3 says this, how shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation? What is salvation? I always thought salvation, or not always, but when I was young, salvation was coming down to the altar every Sunday and hoping God would come that night because you knew you couldn't hold out all week, and getting down and bawling and crying and telling God how bad you have been and how ornery you've been. And I thought that was salvation, saving you from hell. But salvation is in the realm of the mind. Salvation is in cultivating the powers which God has put within you, and He's put it within every one of you. Don't tell me how unspiritual you are. It doesn't make any difference. The principles will work for you. If you do not till your land, remember the land is your mind. If you do not till your land and you do not cultivate the possibilities that God has given you, then you cannot escape failure. There's nothing you can do about it. How do we condition our mind positively for the good that we desire? Now, I see that one finger up there, Sherry. Are you wanting to give an offering? Or I know we're getting to the end of this program. I just hate it. I just hate it. Next week, we're going to start with the conditioning the mind positively by thinkonomics. Somebody said, that's not a word. Yes, it is. I made it. Thinkonomics. Thinkonomics, that is deciding, thinking, and acting in concert with the good that we desire. We're going to pick that up next week. Heavenly Father, I thank you. I count it a privilege to minister to these folks every Sunday morning. I count it a privilege. I feel like I'm chosen to minister to these folks every Sunday morning. Now I want you to ask you to touch those that need a touch this morning. Bring peace. Bring healing. Bring blessing into their life. They're your children, made in your image, made in your likeness. And just like my children, I would give everything I've got to them. You want to give us everything you have. Now, I'm standing and believing with these folks that you'll touch them. Now I'll give you all the praise. Amen. I love you. Sherry loves you. We'll see you next week.